Hi guys, my name is Amos Dsouza and welcome back to the channel. So this is an announcement video wherein we are starting with a new series wherein I'll be going through the process of making a game. Yes, you heard it right, so you can join along too. So what before we get into game design or game development in general, what is game development? Right? What is game development? Uh, in short terms, I would say it's a collection between art, music, and code. Right? Because art is the things which the player will see in your game, right? And the better the art quality, the more attracting your game becomes. Um, the music is all the sound effects what the player will hear, like whenever he completes a level. What great way to give the player satisfaction, where then playing a very nice tune, right? And code is everyone's least favorite, in my opinion. That is, it will control everything in your game, that is from loading your game to running it safely, right? So okay, you want to make a game, right? So how will you go into making a game? There are a lot of resources out there, and one of the free and wide variety which is available is, people say, join Unity. Now Unity is a very good game development engine. Now what's a game engine? A game engine in short is, it helps you make a game pretty fast. That is, it will have all the necessary items to combine art, music, and coding elements into it, with extra stuff like collisions. I hope I spelled that right. And tiles or tile map. Now these are some of the important things in game design. So a game engine helps you to narrow everything down and helps you make games rather quickly. So now we know what is a game engine. So which one am I going to use? I'm going to use Godot game engine, because first of all, it's open source. That means everyone can use it without paying a single dollar to the makers. But it would be great if you give a shout out or something like that when you make a game, that it was made with Godot game engine. So where do you find Godot game engine? Well, glad you asked. You can just go to www.godotengine.org, if I can write it down, org, and you can just go to it like so, and you will get it on this page right here. So you're going to go up to download, see if I clicked it right, and download the respective version. You can download the 64 or 32-bit according to your PC, and scroll down below and while you're at it, just get the export template, because these are important when you want to export your game out. And it is very as we are getting into it, you might forget to download it later, so just get this and keep it ready, you know. So let's just jump into Godot right now. Okay, once you open your once you run the exe which you get, which is about 40 MB or something like that, you are going to be greeted on this page right here. Yours won't look like mine, it will be empty, but I make a lot of prototypes, so it's kind of full right now. So what you're going to do is come up here, go to this left panel and click new project, and then type in the name of the project. I'm going to say your first game, and just navigate to where you want to save this. This may be blurred or may not be blurred, I don't know, and just click create folder. And when you're choosing a renderer, depending on your visual quality, you can decide either one. I'm going to go with Godot 2 because I don't have very fancy visual. On your first game does not have to look pretty, right? Because you need to finish a game. So click create and edit, and it will open up this rather, come on Godot, this rather heck of a thing, which is quite intimidating at first, but you'll get used to it. So if you go up here, we are in 3D, so we won't be dealing with 3D because 3D is much more complex. You add a third dimension to your life and it becomes way more complex. So we're going to stick with 2D, right? Because a wise person said 2D is always better than 3D. I don't know who is the wise person, but anyways, before getting into this, let's learn more about what is Godot and how it functions, right? So going back to my notepad right here, because we need to illustrate everything. Okay, how Godot works. So Godot works in something known as scenes. Okay, so what is a scene? Scene is a file which will have all your data in it. So this will have all your data, that is everything from sprites, that is another name for art, to music, to code, everything. Okay, the scene will have all your data in it, and a scene will be made up, if I can go down, I don't have space, I can just zoom in. Okay, your scenes will be made up of something known as nodes, right? So your scenes will be made up of nodes. Now, what is the function of nodes? Nodes help you simplify your game making process a lot. There will be nodes for games which are 2D games, so there will be 2D nodes specifically to 2D games. There are nodes specifically for 3D games, and nodes, oh god, okay, and there will be nodes for handling music, because music is a big part of games, and I always forget to do it. That's why I'm trying to emphasize on music and art. Code can be done relatively easy if once you get the hang of it. So when we go, so we're going to jump back to Godot right here. Just going to go back to Godot, and oh, what is that? Like, I have to minimize that. Okay, and we come down here to we go to the left and we see scenes panel, when you can see create a root node. Now what is a root node, you may ask? So suppose this box is one of your nodes, right? A root node is the guy who controls everything. Okay, he has the power to do everything. So each scene, right down here, suppose this is one of the scenes, each scene will have a root node. And how Godot works, it works in a tree structure. So this will be the way how you're going to add more nodes to it, and there will be another one, and this node also can have more nodes under it, like so, and the tree can go on and on and on. Okay, and let's try and give it some color. Let's do this yellow, and let's just change this to orange. Okay, so this right here in this top is your main root node. Main root node. Let me write it here. Okay, that has the power to call this node also, this one also, and even this down here too. And this node is your main node, so you can call it the root node, as I have written. I'm going to use that. And the nodes attached to another node, or the nodes under, like this too. Let me choose this yellow color. Let me just choose it. This nodes right here, okay, right here are called children nodes. So this two yellow nodes are children of this node right here. Okay, and you can keep this process growing, and it can just go to infinity. Okay, but you won't need infinite roots. So jumping back to Godot, what we're going to do is we're going to create a root node, and as I told you before, there is 2D scene, 3D scene, and user interface. Now we'll look at user interface later, but now we're just jumping into 2D scene. Okay, and now all the nodes should be this is your root node, and let's just call it main because it's your main node, and everything starts branching off from here. So that's your scenes panel. Down here is your file system, wherein you can import all your assets, which is everything I mentioned over and over and over again. To the left, to the right, we have the inspector. So each node has properties, and all the properties are listed in the inspector. And if you go up here, you'll see inspector and node. So this panel right here are all the signals. Now these are very important in Godot, and you have groups, which we'll get into later. But keep in mind, signals are very important, and you can do a lot of stuff with signals. Okay, and the middle thing right here, if you already noticed, it is your workspace. This is where you're going to bring all your things together. So if you go up here, you can see 2D, you can see 3D, and you can see script. Now script, here we're going to write the least favorite stuff, the scripts for the game, which are pretty simple for the 10-minute game. If you haven't watched the video, the link is in the top right corner. So the scripting is very easy for the game, so you don't have to get too worried about it. But that aside, if you go to the top right here, you can see we have a lot of buttons. So what are these? So this play button will play your game, pause button will pause it, obviously, and the stop button will stop your game. Now this this button right here with a play symbol and the movie thing, I don't know what it's called, will help you play a particular scene. The play button will run the whole game, whereas this thing will help you play a certain scene from that point onwards. And I never use this last one because I don't know what it is. I should get into it, but it's never useful, so I don't. So we have made this root node, and we are going to save the scene. So press Ctrl S and just click save. Now if you see down here in file system, you can see main.tscn. That's your scene extension .tscn, and you should remember that because it's pretty important when you are trying to reference other scenes. Okay, and if you click the play button right here, it will say no main scene selected. That means whenever you want to run a game, you need to have a main scene defined. So we're going to select the main scene, and voila, your game should start running. Right now it is just gray in color, but we'll get there eventually. So down here you can see output, debugger, audio and animation. We'll get to these tabs when we need it, but if this anything pops up, you just click the highlighted text and it will hide it. So right now you have a game, you have a game window, you have to make the stuff. But to end this video, what we're going to do is we're going to try and change this background color. So let me introduce to project settings. So if you go up to project and if you click project settings, this is your friend, not really, but you need to know this. So, and another important thing in project settings is input map, which is very interesting and very helpful. So this I will cover this in the next video when we try and script, hopefully. Okay, and if you scroll down, or if you want to find stuff quickly, just click search here and just search for environment, and you'll see under rendering you can say environment. Just click it and nothing pops up, so you click the X and you'll have everything required. So if you see default clear color is gray right now, so I'm going to change it to like black but not real black. And if you go back, you can see the color updated, and if you try and run the game, the color is changed to the same color as you selected. So mess around with that, and if you want to read more about Godot, you can just head over to Godot's Godot's documentation. That's what I was trying to say. Just go over to more, I guess. Oh no, learn. Just click learn, and it should take you over to Godot's documentation, wherein you can read about a lot of stuff. It's like getting started step by step. I highly recommend, and links to this will be in the description. We'll be going through this kind of list, but in a pretty unusual form, but this is what we are going to cover at the end of this series. So if you're hyped to make your very first game, please hit the like button and click the subscribe button so that you don't miss any videos, right? I'll try posting daily so that you can make your game pretty fast. And yeah, that said, I wanted to get this out real quick. That is, I haven't posted anything in the whole month of May. That is because I was pretty lost and demotivated to make games. So stick along. I'll have more posted in this month, hopefully, and this series should help me get back the motivation to make a game. So again, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss any video. So with that said, let's call it quits right here. Let's end this part right here. So stay safe, guys, and see you all in the next video. Bye bye.